Hey guys, welcome to Lockdown 2.0 edition. We'll call it a special edition of Rugby League Outlaws. The big man himself will be joining us again via very expensive satellite later in the show, but until then, you got to put up with me. Of course, the big news, unfortunate news if you will, is that the NRL's had to head north. Wouldn't wish going to Queensland upon my worst enemy, the Dragons. But look, with all due respect, and in all honesty, good on the NRL for scrambling the way they did, organising so that the competition will continue. Look, at least the next month will be played out of the Sunshine State, and I dare say the rest of the competition. In terms of home games in Sydney, unfortunately, I think we've seen our last football this year, but that's okay. We'll keep it light and happy. We'll move on. Look, Newcastle, shout out to the fans up there. I'm really sorry to hear that the game won't be heading, as we had a lot of mates that were friends of the show going to the game. But in terms of banter, this is the most fantastic gift from above we could have hoped for. Beating Queensland 3-0 on their own dung heap makes me so happy. Look, in this week's Dragons news, Daniel Alvaro and Zach Lomax have refused to sign affidavits attaining to what actually happened at the now infamous Paul Vaughan party. But both players have been stood down, per se, in that they won't travel to Brisbane for at least the next month. Really puts into question what happened at said party, but I think we'll leave that for another time. Look, it's just a shame that the Dragons are going to miss their almost fit again and by far their best centre. The other big talking point this week out of round 17 was Sammy Walker's moment of madness. For those who missed it, he went backwards and really quick. Victoria, what were your thoughts on the situation?
Now, if you didn't see the game on the weekend or you live under a rock social media-wise, in the final 20 seconds of the game, Sam Walker had the ball. He went to go for a field goal, but the defenders rushed up, so he turned around and ran the opposite way, basically to run out the clock. This divided a lot of social media. Some people thought it was really funny, some people thought it was a good idea, and some people thought it was disrespectful and showed poor sportsmanship. I was in the latter originally. When I first saw it, I wasn't a fan of it. I more so just thought it showed his immaturity. I kind of thought a more experienced player probably wouldn't have gone with that. But then I started seeing, other sides of the argument and stuff, and I kind of was like, it's done, whatever. I think Trent Robinson didn't really like it, but I'm sure he'd speak to him, behind the scenes. No one's other place to say anything. But then the next day I saw that he started copying abuse on social media, and that's where I became the biggest Sam Walker fan ever, because I hate that. I hate that just because he did something that you don't necessarily agree with, people take to social media to abuse a teenager. He's a literal teenager in his debut season. So as much as I didn't agree with the play, I don't agree with the hate that he's received. And I think it's just been ridiculous. And I think this thing has kind of been blown up a little bit. And hopefully Walker puts this behind him and has a great game on the weekend, and people can move on and forget about it.
And look, as hard as this is for me to admit, Terry got one right.
Dan, I just wanted to make mention, a few weeks ago you and I both said that, Manly were a one-man team. Tom Turbo was the most important player in the game, and we saw that. The Raiders were able to completely nullify any attack that Manly had. Manly looked devoid of not being able to throw the ball to Turbo and him create, and not even having Turbo there, or DCE for that matter. Jason Saab was once again shown to be more David Simmons than the actual, best or second best winger in the game at the moment. Once again, Rugby League Outlaws, we're bringing all the juiciness to you, but Manly, they're in trouble if Turbo goes down.
They better hope that Turbo's hammies hold up. For reasons unbeknownst to us, we've actually picked up a fair few new viewers recently. So we're going to go back to the early shows and bring back a staple of said early shows. The best in the business. The big man himself, Benny's back, and he's got a whole heap of news. Benny, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
What have you been up to, mate?
Yeah, not much.
Any news?
No.
Thanks, Benny. Guys, time to talk some black, white and blue, my favourite time of the week. Isn't it good to be back in the winner's circle? Convincing-ish winners over the Warriors this weekend.
Dan, I just want to cut you off and talk about the Braden Hamlin-Uele try and post-try celebration. First of all, that ball from Blake Brayley, absolutely beautiful. Getting Hamlin-Uele footwork through the line one-on-one with Reece Walsh, he was never going to stop him. We were in shock. We thought he got up and punched someone, and when we saw it was Jack Williams, it was probably what every fan wanted to do in 2010 when Williams had the dropsies. But the post-try celebration was that good that Sportsbet donated 10 grand to it. We've released, and the NRL has released footage, and the Sharks have released footage, and everyone's got the footage of Jack Williams selling that punch. And I think once Williams finishes dominating the NRL and realising his potential, that he could literally go into the WWE and just sell the hell out of that, because it looked like he got decked. It really did. All in all, that was the play of the day. A fantastic win for the Sharks.
It certainly was a good try celebration. Good luck to anyone who hopes to replicate something of that degree. Well, the big talking point heading into the game was Sean Johnson. Is he going to play? Is he not? Is he interested? Has he put the cue in the rack for the rest of the season? I think his performance on Sunday proved he's got the level of professionalism, and he definitely wants to play finals football this year. Look, I think he was our best on ground. I think he had the ball on a string largely in that first half. And in the second half, when the Warriors did get momentum, he kicked us out of trouble and he kept earning us repeat sets. Look, that's sort of what we need for the rest of the year while young Braden Trindle comes through. Speaking of Trindle, I think he had his best game in first grade this week. Look, he's still not the finished product by any stretch. There are some frustrating moments. You're going to get that. He's still a rookie. Don't forget, this is his second season, but he's yet to have a genuine preseason. Both COVID affected, and look, I think he'd be better for the run. His try assist to put Connor Tracy untouched was the stuff of legend. Burst over for a try himself, put some kicks in when Johnson couldn't get the ball. Look, I think ultimately he was about a 7.5, 8 out of 10, which is what we can expect for the rest of the season going forward. Look, Tracy deserves a shot at the halves, absolutely, but his utility value means he fits in where he's needed at this stage. And I think Trindle partners Nico Hines as stands next year. I think this is the combination that you use moving forward. Big news breaking last night is that Phil Offield's mentioned that the Sharks won't be bringing Josh Dugan, Wade Graham, potentially Aaron Woods into the COVID bubble when they leave tomorrow being Wednesday. Look, Wade Graham, as we know, has concussion issues. I want him to sit the rest of the season out, come back firing next year. Josh Dugan's just been deemed surplus to requirements, won't travel. And Woodsy's wife is actually due in 2 weeks, which causes huge headaches coming back and travelling. Look, in all honesty, if none of the players travel, that's, life comes first. Let's blood some young players. Let's get Teague Wilton big minutes under his belt, and let's move forward. Look, this is a message to Craig Fitzgibbon. Craig, I know you're watching. Thanks for your viewership. Please sign some forwards.
Let's talk some footy, Dan. Our friends at Top Sport are allowing us to pick the games again and help our viewers make a ton of cash. If you followed us last week, we got nearly all the try scorers and picked the margins. First game, Titans versus Eels. It's at Cbus. I'm not sure if it's going to be in front of fans because there is a Sydney team involved, but the Titans season's on life support, and I'm picking the Eels to strangle the life out of them in this game and come away with a comfortable win. I think Moses being in the Origin camp, it's just going to, give him the confidence and belief, and I think Gutho's just got a point to prove, not getting back in the Origin team this year. I picked the Eels to win this game 13+. Big game from Junior Paulo, and Ryan Madison will be a little bit disappointed that he wasn't around the Origin camp as well. So I'm going to pick the Eels to win this game 13+.
On Friday night, we've got Manly hosting the Dragons. In terms of quality, this game should be okay if the Dragons can field a side. Be interesting to see how these suspensions lie and how many players do miss the game, because as we know, they've got to spread it over the next couple of weeks. Ridiculous, but we won't talk about that right now. Look, if Turbo's back, Manly win by plenty, but there's going to be the temptation to rest him given that he'll be off a 2-day turnaround. In that case, still Manly by plenty.
Raiders and Sharks. Look, if this game was down in Canberra, I would have been a little bit worried about the Sharks' chances, but it's going to be up in Queensland, no crowd. I think this plays into the Sharks' hands very well. There won't be the Viking clap. There won't be, 13,000 fans behind the Raiders. I'm going to pick the Sharks in a nail-biter, a 1-12. Ronaldo Mulatalo, anytime try scorer, looks a lot of value. And I think Connor Tracy, anytime try scorer as well. He's scoring some tries, this young kid. I'm going to pick the Sharks in this one, 1-12. No Aaron Woods. Talks of Matt Moylan coming back into the team though. we'll bring Will Kennedy back into it.
Cowboys enjoy an actual home game this week, which is rare against the Roosters. Look, we saw the Chooks perhaps don't have the title credentials anymore, but I still think they'll be too good for the Cowboys. Sammy Walker's had a big week off the field, brought on by actions on the field. It'll be interesting to see how he goes. But look, with Tedesco back and Manu back in the centres, I just think they'll have too much for the Cowboys. I think the wheels are well and truly off the tractor up there.
Storm versus Knights. It doesn't matter where this game's played. It's going to be a blowout. Pick the Storm to cover the line. It's 22.5 at the moment. Money for Jam. I'm going to pick nearly everyone in the Storm backline. Actually, everyone in the Storm backline to score a try. Nico Hines just to come out of Origin camp, just absolutely run right on the Knights.
Look, the Warriors have a real red-hot shot at beating the Panthers this week. Look, ultimately, I don't think they do. I think the Panthers do this quite easily. Look, the Warriors couldn't beat the Sharks, and with all due respect to the Sharks, the Panthers are a far superior side, even coming off Origin. Sands their halves, Penrith by 12.
Broncos versus Tigers. Again, I don't know if the crowd's going to be involved in this one. It'd be unfortunate for the Broncos, but I'm going to pick them to continue their good form. Obviously, they beat the Sharks in a very tough game, and I think they'll account for the Tigers very easily. So I'm going to pick a surprising Broncos 13+ win for this, and let's go with Jermaine Azarko, first try scorer.
And we got a Sunday night game, which is the one good thing out of missing a Thursday night this week. The Bunnies, again, host the Dogs. Look, this is one-way traffic. The Bunnies did the job against a better Cowboys team. Look, the Dogs are just playing for next season. I'll be very surprised if this is anything less than 20 points. Cody Walker, man of the match by an absolute mile. He is annoyed he didn't play Origin, and I think, for the record, that he's the best player that's not playing in the Rep Series this year.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by Punctured Media. Please like and subscribe on all the socials that you can, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Give Rugby League Outlaws a follow. Trash Dan and I, we really appreciate it. We're sending out more prize packs than ever at the moment. I miss being next to the big fella, but as always, we'll see you again next week. And Dan?
Rugby League, baby.
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 Rugby League, baby. Rugby League, baby.
Rugby League, baby.
Rugby League, baby.
You heard him.